Hello and welcome to the Special Moves podcast. This is episode 92. My name is Mike Williams. These guys are Jake Lukowski and Liam McKelvey. Hello.
Hi.
Hello to you. Hello to everybody listening.
We have got some cool things to talk about. We've been playing some games, playing a bit of the older Avengers Beta, which is pretty... Well, it's quite difficult to define, I think, but we'll get into that later on. We've had some really good emails, and there's some decent releases coming out next week. One that I'm pretty excited about anyway.
Yeah. Crucially, it's been 3 days since we recorded the last podcast because we were out late. So, you know, we went heavy on the games last week's podcast. And it's worth just bringing it up in case you're like a regular Monday listener who doesn't maybe check. You probably would have seen another episode, which is, I think, Fall Guys, Orcs Must Die,
Rogue
Company. So all the heavy hitters actually were covered on Thursday. So
we recorded that right before the PlayStation thing, which we then watched. I got a pizza in and I watched it, and so did you guys.
Yeah, I didn't get a pizza in. I don't think Liam did either, but
I
wish I did.
I was editing the podcast that we just recorded.
Yeah, and I was drinking more Birra Moretti, so in case anyone wanted the full picture.
I was drinking Birra Moretti. It's weird that you had that because I don't normally drink it, but I had
me neither. The universe was just speaking to us.
Yeah, again, it's happened again.
I hope the marketing lads for Birra Moretti listen to this going, we got him.
Yeah, there was probably like some fucking tweet ad or something that we both saw, about a week ago.
Yeah.
So, all right, the PlayStation thing. Regardless of pizza and beer and podcast editing, PlayStation did or Sony did like a PS4, PSVR current gen showcase. That's what it was supposed to be. And they said there was going to be no big PS5 announcements or anything, and well, there wasn't. But there was. In terms of that,
shouts out to all the Bugsnax fans out there. You know what I mean? Yeah. The mouth.
But we were talking about backwards compatibility and all this kind of stuff. And nothing like that. It wasn't anything to do with the next gen kind of system or anything.
Yeah.
Just a lot of games. So, what did you guys think of it all in all? I thought it was all right. I thought it was.
I thought
one or two things.
I thought it was decent. It was basically an indie showcase. Really, the amount of as far as I remember, it was pretty much all like indie heavy hitters. Really, like Spelunky 2, Braid HD or Braid Anniversary Edition, whatever they're calling it.
So good. That looks so good.
Hitman, I guess, are indie on paper, right? They're self-published now. It's and then there was a new game by Giant Squid, the people who did Absu, which is just one of those games like Journey where it's just picked up more and more steam. I'll tell you what, though, like I'm actually quite surprised at how much they did manage to fit into the 40 minutes, considering they did give, they spent a bit of time with bloody Crash Bandicoot 4 at the beginning. I think that was like the opener. And then there was something else that they spent a bit of time on. I can't remember what it was towards the end, but like I was surprised that they managed to reel off so much. I think it was better for, us than it might have been for everybody. And like I had a couple of people on my Twitter feed talking about how disappointed it was, but I was like, I think I was surprised at how strong it started. Like, so Crash 4, it was just pretty much like it felt like a very transparent look at the game. It was like, basically, here's what we're doing. They kind of even said like, we were thinking of some like new stuff we could add, but we haven't really got much. So there's some outfits you can wear. You can like, and then I said to you guys, it felt like it was a bit like a Nintendo 64 cheat code where they've just got someone to come up with some crazy ideas. Like there was a slow motion mode. There's a black and white fast mode. But all in all, like you look at it and you're thinking it's just more Crash, but levels I've not played before. So it's out soon. It's October the 1st, isn't it? I think
so.
Yeah, it's either the 1st, maybe it's the 10th. I don't know, but it's something like that. It's like really close. And then it was. So it was that, which is pretty big, right? And then it was Hitman, which I think this news isn't as big as isn't as sung about as it should be probably. But Hitman has this nice thing where it's quite modular. And if you have Hitman 2, and you've got Hitman 1, you can play Hitman 1 inside Hitman 2. Hitman 3 is on the way. And they just have a trailer of like a first person point of view of Agent 47 fiber wiring someone to death. And then it said you can play the entire Hitman trilogy in VR. So if you buy Hitman 3 and you've got PlayStation VR, if you're one of the lucky 400 people on planet, then you can play the entire game. Like the games that, I mean, Mikey spent quite a bit of time, didn't he, with Hitman?
Yeah. No, it's great because it's very open ended, and it's not, it's not. There's not many games that are kind of built the same way at the moment, I think, and it's this weirdly kind of like modular, this really like modern idea of like, it feels like a subscription. It feels kind of like you're in an MMO kind of, dashboard thing before you start playing the game, because it's just fucking. Yeah. But it's good. Like that's the one of the rare times where I've looked at something that is basically like a fucking website, not a game's main menu. And there's episodes coming soon and all this kind of shit, and you know what I mean. And it's a very modular game, like you said, Jake. But it's just so good. Like when you get into the levels, they all feel super, super different, and there's just really good replayability. And you kind of play through the story. I guess you just play through the each episode to just follow the main mission. The game will tell you what to do, basically. But then the fun really starts when you go back into it and you're like, yeah, what else can I do? Like, what's this briefcase thing over here? And you can mess with the episodes and the levels, to kind of adjust the kind of what tools you've got and how you enter the level and what you're wearing when you enter the level and shit like that. And it just fucking totally changes the dynamic of it. And I like that. I like that kind of XCOM kind of replayability,
Yeah.
It totally works. So I thought this VR thing.
Well, yeah, exactly. So you're going in from a different. Well, when I say a different point of view, I mean it quite literally. Like you're there first person, and it's going to open up a different world of possibilities. There'll probably be things that are going to be a lot easier to achieve, and then also things that are a lot harder to achieve when you're in first person mode. And the one thing about Hitman, especially the new ones, if you're not really like very acquainted with them, if you played the old ones, is that I'm surprised at how kind of dense these areas and levels are, with not just like the things to do, but like the crowds and stuff. So in VR, I can imagine that'll be a pretty trippy thing, seeing all these people go past. I can also kind of see in my head, worst case scenario, they have to strip that back for the game, and there's like 5 people in this stadium, the hot dog seller shouting out to nobody,
It's like, I'll always remember, how kind of desperate I was to play No Man's Sky in VR. Right? Yeah. And I fucking loved the idea of it. And then I put the thing on, and I was like, let's go, baby. Like, take me away. And it was just like cardboard, all of it. Like the game opens and it does this pan, and it's like just cardboard cutout vegetation, and it's
Paper
like
Mario.
It's just unbelievably blurry, and I'm like, so maybe it'll be like do anything and be anyone in Hitman, but there's only like 6 people.
Yeah, it looks like a mod for Wolfenstein or something.
But that, who knows? We're just, maybe it'll be great.
Yeah. So to summarize, extremely cool. We're looking forward to
it. I'll tell you what I thought was. It was weird while I was watching it. I thought, okay, maybe. But then afterwards, while I was eating my pizza and I was letting the PlayStation thing kind of settle, I changed my opinion on it. Godfall. Is it called Godfall?
Yeah.
What's the thing that the looter slasher, which is a terrible marketing. That's not going to work. Looter slasher, and just it sounds so bad. But the gameplay of it, the more I was thinking about it, I was like, this just. I wouldn't play this. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just not gonna. It doesn't look exciting enough. It doesn't look interesting enough. It doesn't look different enough. And the combat is like they're going on and on about the different styles and stuff of combat. But honest to God, it just looks like Kingdoms of Amalur, which is, over how old is that? Over 10 years old, and that had the same kind of like, a cross section of like melee weapons. and a similar kind of vibe to the combat. And it's Kingdoms of Amalur at the time, especially, was really. I haven't played it in a very long time, but it was very satisfying to play in great melee combat. And it looks like they're kind of doing that, but with a bit of Destiny.
Liam, I don't know how you felt about this before the gameplay thing. Because I can't remember. I don't think you've ever expressed any great interest that way or that way, really. But did it sell you on it? Are you hyped
for Godfall?
Yeah. Says it all, mate, doesn't it?
Yeah.
For Godfall,
no, this really didn't do anything for. I even went back and rewatched it because I missed some bits of it, and it didn't really do much for me, to be honest. Like, I don't know if I'm just like. Well, I've only got so much time in my life for these like live service type games, and they all want to monopolize your time. But you've really just got to pick and choose which ones you like.
Yeah,
and there was nothing about Godfall that really made me go, "Yeah, I'm gonna make time to play this game." Like, if it comes out and reviews great, I'll look into it for sure. But just like the combat to me didn't look very impactful. No. And I'm not really interested at the minute in playing a game where I'm just like on the constant loot treadmill. So
and that's what you said. That's exactly you just articulated what I was trying to say in a much better way, Liam. You've only got a certain amount of time, and you've got to stand out. So that's what I mean when I was kind of watching it, and I was thinking, okay, like I'll maybe what is this? I don't know anything about it. Like all I know really is what I've watched there, But there's nothing exciting about it. It's not set in a universe that I love. It doesn't look like Destiny's got the fucking the shooting mechanics which I love, and the music which I love, and the environments which I love. And so there are a few things about Destiny that draw me to it, but I just wasn't getting that from this. And I felt the same about Anthem as well before that came out. And look how that panned out. Like it just didn't look, even though it was BioWare, and it just didn't look like anything that I was gonna devote the amount of time that you need to devote to get into it. Do you know what I mean? And there's just a lot of stuff competing for that now. Coincidentally, I was watching like some IGN thing about Outriders, which again, I don't know anything about it. I haven't followed it at all. All I know is what you guys have said. And it looks better. It looks more interesting. It just looks.
Well, that's the thing. Godfall and Outriders look very similar release window wise. I think they're coming out around the same time. Outriders is also a Square Enix product, which is also in direct competition with its own other product, Avengers, which is a very similar thing. I think though that my problem with they're all the fucking same. My problem with Godfall is twofold, right? The number one thing was the world looked really weird. Like it looked like, I don't know if it's just the way that the camera is. Destiny probably looks shit third person if you played the whole thing because you can see the corridors. But then again, when you're on the Sparrow or whatever the hell it's called, you are in third person and you can still see it looks pretty good. Everything was like a weird height. It looked like I felt like a kid in a supermarket when the aisles are all like set heights. Everything looked a little bit too. It's hard to explain.
I know what you mean. There's sort of like there's like an incomplete concept artness to it somehow, I think. Like
the edges look too square, and there's just something about it that looked like dead. The world looked a little bit like empty, apart from the enemies, which seemed to stand out. And then my big problem with it is something a little bit more like, I don't know, like you can see it play. You can see playing it. And when I've been playing Avengers, we'll talk about this in a bit, I noticed a similar problem. But when I'm watching Godfall, it's a looter slasher, which the beauty of having a gun in a game is that you are one place and your bullets are another place. But when your weapon is you and there's all these different enemies, you're constantly moving around. And the camera was just like a bit. Camera management is a constant thing. Placement of you, your weapons, your projectile aim, but then also there's this and the camera. If you watch the camera, you're just zigzagging around this dead world. But it's like Diablo, right? Imagine Diablo if it was fucking third person. Yes. It would look shit. The reason
I know exactly what it is. Yeah, I know exactly what it's like. It's like Destiny's melee weapons, which is okay because Destiny isn't a third person. It's not a slasher, is it? It's a shooter. It's a game about shooting stuff. So when you have this like power moment where you get your melee weapon out, and it's okay that it's not, that it's a bit weird and it's kind of you're ping ponging around and. Because it's only there for about 10 seconds and it's all fucking particles and it feels powerful to do it. But you can't, they're building an entire game around the same camera angle and the same thing as the melee weapons in Destiny, which isn't.
I think that like you can kind of counteract those problems that you'd have if you put weight in the character. So like Kratos, so like obviously that's a very similar combat style, but he's a bit of the heavier guy. He's running through people and. Ghost of Tsushima has problems when you're fighting like 10 people at once. Yeah. It's really hard to manage where everybody is. But this is a full game of that. And like it happened with Avengers when I was playing melee characters. I just don't like how it plays. Like it's just maybe it's personal preference, but it just seems like there's no avoidance of that. And
that is one of my things about. We might as well just fucking blur the Avengers chat into this PlayStation conference topic because it's part of the same thing, I think. But with Avengers, which we've been playing, as we said, I think they've done a good job of making it feel heavy and making it feel like it's got weight. But it does have this weird feeling that it's kind of like playing itself a little bit, like Final Fantasy 15 or something, like where you're just kind of tapping a button and the animation is sort of, and you can see that exact same thing in Godfall. You can see the exact same kind of like it's difficult that's the only way I can kind of express it. It feels a little bit like it's sort of playing itself. Is the only way
if you think about something like Sekiro or Ghost of Tsushima, which is fairly passive compared to Sekiro, you've got a certain button for a block, a dodge, you've got different stances, everything like that. But
there's a precision and a kind of immediate responsiveness to it.
Yeah. Whereas, with Avengers, when you're playing as the Hulk, you just tap in square. Yeah. And I think that it's something. It's cool. It makes you feel badass when you tap in square, and that's
but they have made it feel good. They have made it feel like heavy and like you're fucking stuff up, and there's a lot of destruction and stuff like that.
Yeah. Totally. So Godfall. Thumbs down, but
it's got a lot of work to do, it's got a long ways before convincing me to pick it up, especially as a next gen game.
It's so sad to think that every single one of these games have got the same problem where they have shit lore. Destiny is got quite shit lore. Anthem, which was by BioWare, the lore boys, had really. It's not shit lore, but it's like to get it, you need to like listen to 500 holotape codexes, and
it's bad storytelling, is what it is. And I think Destiny to begin with was just really atrocious kind of storytelling.
You had to go on the Bungie website, didn't you, to learn half of what was going on.
And the lines were just Peter Dinklage saying things that just didn't make. What are you talking about? The light, the darkness, the traveler. What does it mean? I can't relate to this because I'm not a fucking demigod. What are you on about? And
unless,
but there's just there's just this kind of forgetting the basics and I remember when if you look at like the Old Republic, the Star Wars MMO, when that came out, there was a lot made of the kind of characters and the NPCs and how they actually have voices and they talk to you, and there's kind of a big moment in like live games and online gaming.
Yeah,
because that's like a basic thing. I want to hear what this person's problem is. I don't want to just go like, I need 10 sacks of fucking feathers. Go kill some chickens.
Hey, traveler.
It's like but they had problems. They you walked in on them as they were just finishing an argument or something, and they were like, fuck, I can't believe that guy. And then it's like a little soap opera moment where they explain to you what the problem is in their life. And Destiny just didn't have any of that, and a lot of these games don't have any of that. And I find it easier to relate to games like, The Division or something, because but even that is fucking, it's not a gold standard, but it's just a little bit better because you understand that's a gang, there's bad people there who are, stealing people's food and whatever. So
and the Wi-Fi went out.
The Wi-Fi went out. They couldn't buy coffee anymore. That's fucking hell.
Yeah, first they took our coffee.
Yeah, but you understand. There's just a better motivation there. So when it's like in Destiny, it's like you need to go and reactivate fucking that Russian AI thing or whatever. And I'm like, oh all right. I like Russian AI. I like sci-fi. That's cool. Well, why am I doing this again? What is it? Why exactly do I need to reactivate it? What am I defending against? Who am I defending? Is there even what's happening? And a lot of these, and I can, you can see that in Godfall, can't you? Like you're saying, like you can see the art and the concept art and the whatever.
Yeah.
But what does it?
I mean,
does any of it?
It's just like it was giving me like strong Warframe vibes as well. To be honest, like. That Warframe is literally the same thing where it's except you play as a space ninja, but you're swapping out armor sets and your frames are integral to your play style. You've got a mix of melee and ranged if you want it in Warframe, and it's third person as well. It's just like I feel like Godfall is just a bit too late to the party, I think, to really stand out from everything else.
It's a shame that we're not necessarily announcing it dead on arrival because it could be good, but and as well, it's one of these games that I bet it's got a fucking, like there's plans for it or whatever. In fact, they might have said that they didn't have that, and if that's the case, it's that even worse. But I feel like all these new games, they're trying to sell you this universe and this lore, but it's just it's a lot, isn't it? It's a lot of dreamy nonsense that you don't give a shit about until you're too far gone, like in Destiny, where you don't give a fuck anymore because you've been force-fed it for about 5 years. So you're like, they're like the Traveller. I'll protect that sphere thing from those big-headed guys. But I guess Avengers managed to, absolutely bypass that because it's got an already... educated audience because the whole of cinema at the moment is held hostage by Marvel. So
you've got like 80 years of comics to go off as well.
Yeah, and but they also, you get it right. There's people running for their lives. There's a city here that's kind of under in great danger. Protect the city. You're like, okay, right. I know what I'm doing. But
with the Golden Gate Bridge, that, don't you?
But I'm not saying it has to be fucking based in reality for me to relate to it. All I'm saying is you got to tell me. And Destiny did improve in that. Like Destiny 2 was fucking much better because the story was a lot more.
Star Wars.
But it doesn't. If it's Star Wars, that means it had characters and it had people. It had like a villain and it had and I understood the problem. The tower is under attack. Oh yeah, I know what the tower is, and we're in the tower all the time, and fuck, it's been destroyed. I'm feeling something here that's motivating me to play the game.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Destiny 2 was a lot better, and it had Nathan made good use of Nathan Fillion and the lads from The Wire and all that sort of shit. And they were great. Yeah.
Not his actual name. His name's Lance Reddick. Cedric Daniels is his character.
They were great voices and they were great, and just having them then after you've been attacked, you feel compelled then, and you feel it just helps you pull you into the universe. So,
good luck to Godfall. But we'll end up checking it out probably. We do everything. So should we just quickly? Is anything else from the thing, or should we go straight into Avengers? Because I just wanted to say, Spelunky 2 looks fucking sick, and I also I'm gonna fancy replaying Braid because
it looks nice.
And it's a shame you guys didn't play it the first time around, so I'm excited to hear what you think. It's not too, dickheady, like The Witness or whatever. Isn't that the same guy that did The Witness?
Yeah, Jonathan Blow.
Yeah, that's a bit dickheady. This has got more of you can enjoy it if you don't want to think. It's not a Sudoku that's interactive. You know what I mean? Like it's a bit.
Yeah.
But other than that, I've got to say, like, I felt that giant squid game. Can't remember the name of it. The one with the falcon. But it's not called the. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Because there's one called the Falconeer that's coming out that looks exactly the same as it, like exactly the same, and you also have a bird of prey, and a bow and arrow, I think. But this one, like Absu was really cool. because it was just underwater journey. But I can't help but think that was the notes when they were thinking the concept for this game will make Journey but underwater. And now I don't know what they're doing. It looked really cool at first, but then by the end of it, I was sick of it. And I've only had like 3 minutes. This is me at my absolute most privileged consumer. Do you know what I mean? But I'm already sick of it. After 3 minutes of a sizzly little showreel, I'm like, right, this might be good. But other than that, I can't remember anything else from the PlayStation events.
It's tough to be original, isn't it? That's the thing. And, there's like a saturation problem in all media because everyone wants to be involved and make things and make money. So crucially, so you end up with fucking loads of things that just, there's a lot of things that kind of look similar. So when things are really good, that's kind of why things get great reviews, because there's something new and unique and interesting about them. But then there's just this kind of,
as I say, there was one game that caught my eye. It was called Anno, and then a subtitle for something. And it was mostly just because it looked like Ghost in the Shell meets Evangelion, and it was like a 2D side-scrolling action game. But then you've got to remember, it's not to be confused with the already existing games called Anno, which are RTS games made by Ubisoft.
Yeah, really famous.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the fuck they were thinking.
And then there was that other game, Aeons Must Die, but that's more famous now for the whole scandal around it, where it turns out the publisher stole the IP from the developers, and all the developers quit, citing abuse, withholding paychecks.
So when you saw that trailer, every single human being that worked on that trailer is no longer with the company.
Fuck.
So it's a very interesting case of the creatives versus the copyright holders and stuff. Isn't it? So that is interesting. I actually found that.
Yeah.
But good luck to that as well. Well, actually, no, bad luck. Die. Anything else that we saw? I can't remember if there was anything else.
No, I can't think of anything else, to be honest. Crash looks good. And
well, I'm sure they'll let us know in the comments.
Well, Bugsnax. I like the look of Bugsnax, but that's about it.
Yeah. How are we feeling about Bugsnax being a psychological horror?
Loving it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a Doki Doki Literature Club.
Well,
I'm doing PR for this game, but I don't know anything about it, by the way, just in case. I'm not like trying to fucking manipulate people's brains and so I can seem like a genius when it comes out that it is a psychological horror. But I've got a hilarious feeling that it is.
Oh yeah, well,
I really, really, really do.
They've had 2 trailers now that have both ended with a sudden ominous turn at the end of the trailer. So I think I would like it if they just did the complete opposite and it turned out it was something completely innocent and they were just misleading everyone. But I wouldn't mind if it turned out to be a secret horror game.
Rival podcasters / actually quite good guys, the Computer Game Show, the only other podcast I listen to. Well, I said the only other. I don't even listen to our about video games. One of those guys, David, is obsessed with this idea. Like, you know that like Always Sunny meme with Charlie and all that paper? He was doing this. He made like a 20-tweet thread about how. Yeah, he's doing like bloody frame by frame reactions. He is trying to figure it out. But I hope he's right, actually, because that would be a very sweet day for him if he's cracked the code that it's a psychological horror. But yeah, Bugsnax. It actually looked quite good. Like, so the gameplay, I don't think we saw any of it last time. You just saw someone with like a curly fry arm, but it looked a little bit Ape Escape-y. You know what I mean?
And that's exactly why it stands out to me, because I love Ape Escape, and it's surprisingly a concept that has not really been copied outside of Ape Escape, which is surprising. You would have think
catching critters in nice levels and stuff. Yeah,
you would have thought there would have been like an indie game like 5 years ago that came along, like saying how heavily inspired it was by Ape Escape, and they're doing a Kickstarter and they've got the composer of Ape Escape to do the soundtrack for them.
You know what? You're dead right. It's been long enough, and it's not like Ape Escape was like some small fry shit when it came out. It's pretty big.
Yeah, it's beloved.
Yeah,
beloved.
So yeah, shout out to Ape Escape, and I guess Bugsnax might be similar. Anything else, Mike?
No. I'm happy to move on. Are we going to talk about Avengers, or have we already done?
No, we haven't spoke about it at all, really. All right, we just said Avengers, fighting.
Avengers, it's a Square Enix's take, like Jake said earlier, competing with its own other product for being a live game. So the beta's been running. Well, I don't know how long is it. Is it start? Did it just start this week or
Friday night?
Kind of. Yeah, I think there's a beta next week for people who are listening. If you didn't play it, so
it's an open one on PS4 next week.
I think if you pre-ordered the special edition of the game, you could play it this week. Or if Square Enix give you keys like they did with us, so we didn't have to pre-order the game, you can play it. So
so it's
everything we say now is going to be relevant to you if you play it next week. Sorry, man.
Yeah. It's kind of it's a strange one to like try and describe because it is a live game. Yeah? It feels most to me when I was playing it like an old-fashioned fucking movie tie-in game, like Lord of the Rings, Two Towers or something like that.
Yeah,
you've got a kind of progression in the background, but it's kind of about battering people, or at least that's how it feels to play.
It's a brawler.
And it is old-fashioned in the way it kind of, especially like through the opening kind of chapters where it's like, you beat these guys up and blow your way, destroy this truck to get to the next bit, and then there's more bad guys and beat those up, but with this new ability that you've just learned, and then and it's very like like an old PS2 movie tie-in game. And that isn't a criticism. It's good fun to have that. I'm fucking sick to death of open world. That open world kind of model. So anything that does something different I'm interested in, and the way this has you beating people up and chucking people around and using superhero abilities and like tag teaming between superheroes and jump. 1 minute you're Iron Man and the next minute you're the Hulk, and you can, as the game progresses, you can choose which hero you want to be and kind of like level them and stuff. And there's definitely. I mean, it feels like it's 5 years too late to me a little bit. Like, it's like, where was this? This should have been out before fucking Endgame came out, I think, the movie. Because that's when they would have got the most fucking money for it, surely. But I think that this is such an obvious, like, slam dunk for anyone who's a fucking superhero fan. I think a lot of people will pick this up, even if they're not even remotely interested in live games or live services, or don't even know what a live service is because they're 10 years old. I think this will do well.
Or 45.
Or 45, yeah. What do you guys think of it? Liam, you've played it more than us two, haven't you?
Yeah, I did everything you can in it across 2 evenings. I did. I like it, but it does have a few rough patches. For me, mostly related to like sort of technical aspects, like the camera in combat can get a bit like wild when you're trying to like keep on top of it.
Did you hear that, Godfall?
And I've never heard it like this. I've never heard a game make my PS4 howl like this before.
Yeah,
my PS4 sounded like it was dying when I was playing this game.
Yeah,
and. Yeah, but like other than that, I do like it. I like the combat because I suppose like one minor criticism I have is that a lot of the heroes can feel a bit samey towards the end.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to tell because they only let you play as 4 heroes. You only get to play as Iron Man, Hulk, Black Widow, and Miss Marvel. And so, but at times they can all feel a bit samey. I ended up.
Right at the beginning.
Yeah, you get to play as Thor and Captain America very briefly at the beginning, but you can't play them past the prologue mission, which is a bit disappointing because out of all the heroes, I liked Cap the most.
Yeah, oh my god, he was.
Yeah. But they don't let you play as him in the rest of the beta. But yeah, like I like it. The combat I do think is good. It feels quite nice and satisfying to just beat up like hordes of robots and stuff like that. I played most of it as Black Widow, and because I liked her fighting style because she did like loads of quick combos and stun attacks and a grapple hook which you can use to do like counter moves. And when you get into a good combo chain with Black Widow, it feels kind of like a game like Metal Gear Rising or Bayonetta when you're pulling off these like combo strings. And just like when everything chains together perfectly.
Yeah.
Like I'm interested to see where the story's going. They've got me hooked on that. I want to see what is. That's mainly just because I'm a big fan of like the Marvel universe as a whole, comics, games, all that.
That's what I was saying earlier. It's a crucial fucking element of it, especially if you want people to keep playing. So much effort is put into end game and things like that because it gets a lot of attention and players complain about it. But the fundamentals of like just telling a good story, at least for the first few hours, to just fucking pull you into it is absolutely essential. And this does do that. It does. You understand what is happening, and it feels big and a big problem. Mm-hmm. And they do a good job of that.
Yeah, I will say, like, outside of the story missions, the missions they give you in the beta do get very repetitive. And a lot of them are weirdly short. Like, there's one mission where it tells you to go assault an AIM base, and you have to get inside the base once you found it in, like, because a few of the missions have, like, these open areas where there's, like, side objectives in the world where you plopped in this map, bit like Destiny, where like you go to old Russia or whatever and you can choose, here's an event going on over here, here's like a high value enemy over here that I can go kill for some loot and hopefully get some better gear off him. And they do that in Avengers. But yeah, like a lot of the missions, like you can finish them in like 5 minutes if you're just going for the main objective. And it's usually just like get to the entrance of a bunker, you fight a wave of enemies, you go inside a lift, have a little bit of a loading screen in the lift, bit of like banter between the heroes, you come out the lift, you fight another wave of enemies. Usually you have to do an objective, like you have to hold these capture points while Jarvis hacks into a server, and then at the end of that you'll get like a boss or an elite enemy who'll drop down. Once you've beaten that enemy, you get a bit of loot, and that's the mission. And sometimes it can take just like 5 minutes, which is a bit weird. Yeah. But then, like, there's some bigger missions. Like I did, I don't know if it's like a raid mission, but they have this like one mission that's like quite a high power level, because you start the beta at like 0 power level, and you have to get to 20 to do this mission, or you'll have a hard time. You can do it whenever, but you might have a hard time doing it if you're not the right power level. And that's like this big, it's like a strike from Destiny where you have this like multi-layered objectives, and then at the end you fight this like big boss that requires teamwork to take down. I didn't ever play the game multiplayer, apart from one time when some guy somehow joined my party, even though I had matchmaking disabled. He somehow got in there anyway, don't know how, but so he helped out for a little bit. But some other minor complaints I have about it are not the enemy AI, the friendly AI is like full on brain dead at times. Right. I went down in a mission and needed reviving, and one of them just stood there like staring at me, not doing anything. And to revive someone, all you have to do is step into like this AoE circle. You don't have to like you don't have to hold the button or anything. You just have to stand near them.
Be there.
You literally just have to be there. And the AI was just like just outside the circle, like almost taunting me. Like, bet you want reviving, don't you? And then they waited until like 10 seconds was left on the timer.
Yeah. And
it was against this like big like mech boss that was, because it was a really spongy boss, and it took like 15 minutes to take it down. Yeah. And I was on the final phase of it, and I had to start the entire fight over again because the AI just stood there staring at me, not helping me. And literally they were just running and the other two were running in circles, just doing nothing. Yeah. So it's got a lot of work to do on the friendly AI, and there's some like visual glitches and stuff, like enemy corpses just floating in midair and not going anywhere, or like enemies clipping through environments and stuff like that, especially the drones who can fly about. There was quite a lot of times they were just like clipping through walls in circles and coming back out. Yeah. But like I like the variety of skills you get with the heroes, because you get like each hero has, I can't remember how many skill trees they said was going to be in the final game, but you get access to an entire skill tree for each hero, and it's usually it affects your abilities. Like you've got, every hero has 3 abilities. They have an offensive one, a defensive one, well, a defensive one on L1, an offensive ability on R1, and then your ultimate is L1 and R1 together. And and each skill tree affects them differently. Like gives you like Black Widow. One of her skill trees is just ranged attacks. You can unlock upgrades that can turn the pistols like full auto or high caliber and all that. And so it seems like there's a good variety to the skills in the game.
Yeah.
But I'm intrigued to see where that's going. But it's I do like it, but yeah, like I don't know how polished it's going to be on launch. Like, it's just like, I like the mission. Like I said, the missions just felt like a bit repetitive towards the end, outside of the story missions they had you doing.
I felt that even just with fighting the waves, and there's a bit where you kind of like, you open a gate, right? To open a gate, there's like 3 consoles. So you open the first console, wave of enemies. Second console, wave of enemies. Third console, wave of enemies. Get through the gate, wave of enemies. It's just, it does feel a little bit kind of relentless with the constant fighting. Yeah. Which, if they find some way of breaking that up, be it just with some nice exploration or some longer periods of trotting around. I mean, there is some like The Last of Us kind of like storytelling where you're just kind of early on where you're like walking around and you go up to something and there's like, oh, hey, look, it's a laptop. Yeah. And then you go up to something else and they're like, oh, a photo on the wall. Here is some story about the photo. Photo goes back on the wall. There's a bit of that.
Yeah.
But, I could do with some just a different kind of pacing, which I guess you can control with like how many fucking enemies there. I think that's maybe what it was. Like the waves feel quite big sometimes. Like there's just a lot of people. There's things in the air. There's like things coming up at you. There's mini bosses landing, and it feels a little bit relentless. I guess is the word.
It can get a bit chaotic. Like I said before, the camera has a hard time keeping up with the action, and especially if you play every character. It doesn't matter if it's like Kamala or the Hulk. Every character moves super fast, and there's so many like particle effects going on screen and things smashing and the environment getting trashed that it becomes just like big clusterfuck of like explosions and different like special effects going off that it can be hard to keep a track sometimes.
You said it feels like a bit like a Lego type game, in some ways. And I totally think that as well. And I think, it does feel like they've just brought the camera down to like a Lego, behind the Lego character kind of thing. And that the structure of the game does kind of follow that. And obviously there are several Marvel Lego games, aren't there? So it does feel especially kind of connected, but that should give you a good idea of kind of what you're dealing with. Combined with Lord of the Rings 2 on Lord of the Rings 2 Towers on PS2.
I saw someone describe it online as like Marvel Ultimate Alliance, but they've put the camera behind you. Yeah. And that's a pretty fair way to describe it, to be honest. Yeah.
It's a open beta, is it, guys? Yeah. Did you say? I can't remember what you said.
Next week it is.
Coming up, yeah. So if you're interested in that, jump in and take the chance to play it in it. So, okay, let's do some emails. If you want to send us an email, the address is dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. You can tell us about anything you want. Tell us your stories, your opinions on games, question things we've said, disagree with us, whatever you want. Send us an email. It's dearspecialmoves@gmail.com, and they all do get read. This one is from Dan Scott, who begins with an extremely difficult and just awkward "Hi guys," which is neither Hello Gamers or Dear Special Moves. So I don't know who you're trying to.
Stale standard greeting. Yeah.
Who you trying to impress there, Dan? I mean,
the Chicken Kiev of greetings. That.
Let's read the email.
What's wrong with Chicken Kievs?
Exactly, Liam. Exactly.
There is nothing wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah. Dan Scott says, "Hi guys, long time listener, first time throwing my hat in.
Yeah,
I've got a question."
Yeah,
you're clearly new to it, Dan. My question is about something I found interesting since finally getting my hands on Nintendo's little console that could. That's the Nintendo Switch, for anyone who doesn't know. I've always had a hate relationship with Dark Souls. I've bought it, having bought it on PC twice, my experience spanning from very mild annoyance with the lack of direction to controller snapping, wall-punching rage at the bullshit in Sen's Fortress, which is a level in Dark Souls. However, since pulling the trigger on the Switch remaster version and playing on the sofa while my girlfriend watches crap reality TV shows, I've quickly poured 120 hours in over a number of weeks, and I'm now a bona fide Souls fan, completing the game to New Game Plus 3.
Nice.
That could be easily explained away. However, the same has now occurred with The Witcher 3. Having bought the PC version a couple of years ago to show off the power of the then top-of-the-range GTX 1080, but finding barely any enjoyment in it after giving it a fair chance. I recently found the Switcher cheap and wondered if lightning does strike twice in the same place. Lo and behold, I'm loving the Switch port of the game, muddy graphics and all. Am I alone in this? The same can be said for other ports like Cuphead, Sonic Mania, all found to be much more enjoyable and personable playing laid on the sofa or in bed with some background music.
Welcome.
Welcome.
As always, thank you for the amazing content. The weekly podcast is the highlight of my commute. Look after yourself, Dan Scott. Cheers, Dan. Thanks for your email.
Dan. We should do a Switch port of the Special Image podcast somehow.
Yeah.
Imagine. People, that would be really personable. I think half of the battle was won when you were sitting there with your other half, hopefully with a beverage, hot one. You're watching reality TV. That's half of the fight there. You don't want to watch it, but also you want to be there physically, not spiritually, but physically there. And you can just switch off and play that. But if you went up like, fuck this off, I'm going upstairs and playing on PC. It's not the same, is it? You can be there. She can enjoy what she's enjoying. You can play The Witcher. That's half the battle. That's half the reason you like it, isn't it? Yeah. Because, what other reason is there? Doesn't run better. Doesn't sound better. Doesn't play better. It's got to be that. So, But it's funny that, and I'd also like to imagine that having your better half next to you whilst you suffer for 120 hours was offering some sort of silent moral support that you couldn't have got away with, swearing or punching thing because she'd think you're pathetic. Yeah. She'd be like, why am I with this guy punching a wall about some stupid video?
He's playing a games console with a red and blue controller at the end.
So. And he's saying, oh, trust me, it's bullshit. I don't even know what Sen's Fortress is, for fuck's sake. So, you know what I mean? Maybe that's it. Maybe it's because you've had the constraint of looking like a dickhead if you punch your own wall. But 120 hours is a lot of time in Dark Souls 1.
That is.
I remember me and Liam played it before it came out on the Switch, and I think we've both agreed that the control was a bit weird, wasn't it, Liam?
Yeah, because they had the on the Switch, B and A is reversed on type, compared to what it is on a normal Xbox controller or whatever, but that affected, it ended up you were using your Estus flask all the time instead of dodge rolling and stuff like that. Yeah, because they swapped it on the Switch, so that I don't know, because we played it handheld as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I couldn't get my head around my hands kept hitting. I was trying to hit light attack, but then my finger kept rolling over and hitting the heavy attack instead. And I couldn't see myself playing it on the Switch. But,
the muscle memory will be there for anyone who's played
definitely
the series. So if you're like Dan and you've tried to play the series and not, I guess it's not going to be a problem, is it? You just accept things for how they are. How the controls are. I can probably think of a few games that I've tried elsewhere and eventually kind of enjoyed on the Switch. I mean, Banner Saga was a big one for me because I loved Banner Saga, and it just made so much sense as a handheld game. But I could never get into it on the PC or on the PS4. It just didn't. Yeah. Just didn't ever click for me as a console, as a living room game or a PC sitting at my desk game. But when I was playing it like I was reading a book at night, it fucking worked wonders. It was amazing. What about you guys?
I love revisiting old games on the Switch. You know, when they get ports, like just having the ability to, like, you know, playing Final Fantasy IX and having the ability to just, if I need to go somewhere, just suspend it and I can put it on the dock to charge while I have to, like, run to the shop or something, and don't have to worry about having to find a save point when I'm in the middle of a boss battle that's going on forever. I do like stuff like that. And it's just like JRPGs especially are nice on the Switch, just because you've got the convenience of, if you're in a dungeon or whatever in a JRPG, you can just go like, I've got an hour spare, I can do a bit of grinding, bit of leveling, and then you can just like, right, that's my hour done, just pop it back and revisit it whenever you're ready to go again. I do like that.
I got really far on Final Fantasy VII on there that I wouldn't have done if it wasn't on the Switch. I haven't done it this year much because of the pandemic, but last year I found myself traveling a lot, and on the Switch I was wanting to play games that I could dip in and dip out, you know, like in between flights, or, you know, they're not like long flights, like an hour. So I was wanting to play like roguelikes. So Dead Cells and Slay the Spire, two games that are great everywhere, no matter where you play them. You know, it'd be good on iPad, they're great on PC. I think they're both on Game Pass as well. But the Switch, Slay the Spire on the Switch and Dead Cells on the Switch is perfect. I've just restarted Cuphead, and I'm near the end. I'm one boss away from being against King Dice, who I think is the penultimate boss.
Second to last, yeah.
Yeah, and I want to scream and cry and punch a wall like Dan playing Dark Souls. But if I had that on Switch, I wonder if I would have more time for it. I don't know. But yeah, I'm a big fan of these roguelikes on there. I've got Binding of Isaac on there, and I've got Children of Mortar as well. But I haven't really put much time into them yet there because you know, my PlayStation save has got everything unlocked and all that. But I think it's going to be my roguelike console forever. It's so good, man. Like, it's so good.
Okay, cool. So thanks for the email, Dan. Keep them coming. We'll do another one here. This one's from Reese, who again has got a very unconventional introduction to his email. Reese says, "Hi, I can't believe this one. Hi, Jake / Mike / Liam. I mean,
only one of us. We have to pick, do we?" All right.
Dear special moves, and I mean, I'd rather Hey Gamers than.
That's right.
Than that.
That's fucking right. You would.
You know, you have to give space for your political opponents to have a discourse. And Hey Gamers, we're on opposite ends of the aisle. I'm the empirical, tyrannical Dear special moves versus the
super kawaii, informal. Hey Gamers. Yeah. Very camp, nice energy, exudes confidence.
Yeah. Well, join the strength of the empire and say, "Dear special moves, please." Definitely do not say, "Hi, Jake / Mike / Liam."
Yeah.
Anyway,
fuck out of here. No,
time for a very emotional and sympathetic email from Reese, from Preston, who says, "Just want to say I'm a massive fan of the channel and podcast. Listen to every episode since the Pretty Good Gaming days. You guys are in my routine at the start of each week, and for that, I just want to say thanks for everything. I'm currently going through a rough breakup." Sorry for having such a go about that.
We chastised him at the beginning, and now there's this.
That's Liam thing. I'm sorry. I'm currently going through a breakup which happened last sort of out of nowhere. Life seems pretty empty and dull at the moment. The only thing that's getting me through are family, friends, and podcasts when I have any downtime for my mind to dwell. So as you can imagine, it is rather hard to focus on stuff at the moment due to my situation, and I'm constantly finding myself not feeling up to playing any game other than the occasional Rocket League match. Powerful Rocket League game, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
As I try and navigate through my healing period, I'm just wondering if there are any games you guys can suggest that will help me remain distracted or help me get any form of escapism.
Yes.
If you know of any games that are good for dealing and processing breakups, I would be open to suggestions for them too. I know I'll be okay in the long run, but for now it's a difficult time, and I would just like to hear your suggestions. Sorry for the downer. Thanks for everything again, lads. Stay safe. Reese.
All right, Reese.
Well, thanks for the email, Reese. sorry for
Rocky start. But...
yeah. Bags of potential.
Yeah.
Be a special moves next time.
So the games about breakups, whack. Ignore them straight out the bat.
Yeah.
Games about breakups are written by people who aren't over breakup. Right? That's as simple as that. They're not going to help you, mate. Forget about them. Do you want me to tell you? I'll tell you the game I played during my first serious sad breakup. Do you want me to tell you what the game was?
Yeah.
It was Sega's Xbox 360 Viking, which I don't know what it
being like cathartic, and
I don't know what it was. I wasn't like sort of like going, "I'll axe your head off." I remember for some reason that was the game. I don't know if it's just because it was the new game or what, but I remember playing that. So I don't know.
Imagine we started recommending things like Dead by Daylight and shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, games where you murder everybody. I think that well, it's a dangerous road, isn't it? Because like MMOs are good, but also they are crack again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, what about a good story-based RPG? Well, you know what? Actually,
we don't know anything about Reese's preference other than Rocket League, right? Which we compared last week to
Fall Guys.
Because it's got the same like accessible, bright, lots of fun. Like it's people are just. I haven't played it yet, but there's people on my Twitter timeline and stuff like that who are just kind of fucking. Just people are just into it, and people who I follow a lot of like people who don't talk about games and stuff usually, and they're just tweeting things about breaking their controller and things like that because there's. But if it's getting people to that level of like, engagement and being so into it, so that might be one. Fall Guys might be one. It's free at the moment.
Not about processing a relationship breakup, but a game about loss, and it's short and manageable, and it's engaging, and it keeps changing itself. What Remains of Edith Finch is fucking cool because it's short. You could do that in one day. It's going to be miserable like you are, so you're going to be like. Feeling like it's not because that's one thing about Fall Guys. Is Fall Guys is like, hey guys, hope you like jelly beans.
But he's playing Rocket League.
Yeah, but Rocket League can be moody and brooding. Ooh, cool. Synthwave. Ooh.
Oh, you've got some fucking PC mods installed or something. Some fucking emo Rocket League.
I mean, you don't have the Dr. Disrespect Rain Synthwave installed, Mike. No, but I want about Fall Guys. The music at the beginning, it might be just too happy, and he's like, I'm not happy enough for this.
Well, I haven't played it, so I don't know.
If you want someone to suffer with you, why don't you play one of these like little like walking sims? What Remains of Edith Finch? I actually prefer, right, thinking about what I like more, Everybody's Gone to the Rapture is actually really fucking good, I recommend that. If you want to wallow in sadness, Dear Esther, Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, or what
this flies in the face of the promising fucking direction you took at the beginning of this, which was don't go anywhere near any game that's probably been written by someone who's recently had a breakup. Which both of those fucking games.
No, these games are written by people whose nans have died. Definitely. It's definitely about death, isn't it? Not about...
whose nans have died during a breakup. It's just that kind
of... Yeah, well, he said Fall Guys, so I thought, well, let's give him options.
I think you're on the right track right at the beginning, Jake, when you said like story-heavy RPGs and stuff are always great because you can invest yourself in this world and get involved in these characters, get to know them, get to like them, and all that.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
I wouldn't say it depending on like who you are. I wouldn't say like mindless games because your mind might tend to wander and just keep wallowing. Whereas sometimes if you play a mindless game, you might just completely turn your mind off altogether. But like I wouldn't play a mindless game going through a difficult situation because I'd just start overthinking everything while I was playing this mindless game. But yeah, like I'm a strong advocate of the story-based RPG if you're going through a difficult time.
I'm trying to
find the best option.
Yeah.
We had a list last week, remember, of games that we keep talking about that someone wanted to know which one should they play, right? Which was like, Mass Effect, Pillars of Eternity, Divinity into Witcher 3, all these kind of like,
Alan Wake,
yeah. Final Fantasy 15. That's like going on a road trip with the bros.
With your bros.
And everything's
genius.
There's a strong there's a strong like undercurrent through Final Fantasy 15 of everything's going to be all right because you got the boys.
Yeah.
Well, and then if you do want to have mind off time, there's enough like side questy bits to be getting on with, fishing and whatnot.
Yeah.
But even then, it's always with the bros. You go fishing, Gladio comes with you, and you bond over, like when he stuck up for you as a child.
That's good, I do like a bit of that. Final Fantasy 15 I didn't get very far into, but the time I enjoyed of it, I loved it. Like, I really, really, really did like it. Yeah, I reckon that's a good shout, I'll co-sign it, Liam.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, me too. That's good. I think, we've mentioned a lot of games, so we don't know anything about Reese's preference other than Rocket League, so hopefully there'll be something.
Four guys have just gone to the Rapture with a bit of Final Fantasy 15 in between. Look at that.
Yeah, that's good. There you go. I'm happy with that. Final Fantasy 15. The Doctor McKelvey has fucking prescribed some time with the bros on Final Fantasy. Okay. So enjoy that, Reese. Thanks for the emails. They were good emails this week. The address is dearspecialmoves@gmail.com if you want to send us anything. Guys, do you want to talk about anything else before we do the new game?
I do, actually, yeah. Is that okay?
Shoot.
All right, okay. UnderMine came out this week. I didn't even know what it was until about 10 minutes before recording the podcast when I was talking to you guys about it. I didn't even realize it came out this week. It came out on Thursday. It came out in early access last year, and version 1.0 came out. It's out on Steam. It's $20. Very positive reviews. 9 out of 10 on Steam there. It's on Xbox Game Pass as well, which is why I played it. It's like a Moonlighter looking style game. Guys, it's a roguelike. It's one of them. Let's just get out of the way. Your boy can't fucking resist. Someone in our comment section said, Jake, you haven't played West of Dead. I did. I just didn't like it. I didn't want to talk about it. There's another roguelike game someone recommended. I can't remember which game it was, but I played that and didn't like it. But now I'm back with one I do want to talk about, and I would recommend it to everybody listening, really, if you can play it on Game Pass. This is a really good example of a roguelike. It's called UnderMine, and it's about a world where you, the peasants, the miners, are sent into the mines to, solve this problem. Basically, there's these caverns underneath a town that I don't think you ever see. And there's earthquakes underneath the caverns. You don't know what the cause of the earthquake is. So the ruling class send in the peasant miners to discover that, because they're disposable, which kind of folds into the humor of the game. When you die, just another peasant takes your place. And that's what the roguelike element is. But it's got this cool RPG skill tree style thing that roguelikes have. So, you jump down a floor, you clear the floor, you jump down another floor, clear the floor, and each floor gets difficult. Each floor has a different set of rooms that you need either keys or bombs to get into. Very Binding of Isaac, which is like my favorite game, right? So it's like jump down. You get gold. When you die, you lose like pretty much half of it, but you can then spend that gold in the shop in the hub world. Not hub and spoke. This is hub and well, all the way down. You can buy, things that give you better max health, better strength. Have it so your gold reserves are bigger, so you don't lose half of your gold every time. You might only lose 20% of your gold every time. It's got super simple mechanics. There's some things that they've tried to add to the game to make it interesting. Like there's these relics that you find that are like one-off power-ups that you can, have for that run, but when you die, you lose them, compared to the, more permanent upgrades that you can get. I do like that there's a lot of permanence in this game, because I think that, like, with a lot of roguelikes, when you die, you don't want to jump back in because you did so well last time. But with this, the majority of the things that you obtain, upgrades for bombs, for example, you take into the next run. So it's very, very addictive because of that. And I ended up playing it for like a couple of hours when I was only supposed to play it for 15 minutes, right, just to test if it was good or not. The game was like less than a gig as well, which is a great thing, because I can look at it, want it, and be playing it in like 10 minutes. So rather than like downloading a 25 gig Worms fucking Armageddon or whatever it is on Game Pass. I can't remember what it was. It was like some Worms game I wanted, and it was like massive. But yeah, if you're a roguelike fan, I'd recommend it. And if you've never played a roguelike before, but you keep hearing about this thing, this is like a pretty good example of one. It's pretty friendly to play. It's got a lot there, and it doesn't piss you off, but there's quite a lot of depth to it. I think the combat's probably the least exciting thing. Most roguelike games, you can change your weapon type. Dead Cells had a great system. Moonlighter even has a system, and Hades has a system where 5 weapons that you can kind of go down. This is like you've got a pickaxe no matter what, but you can also throw a mini pickaxe. So you've got like a projectile and a regular weapon. I think that the art style's cool, the music's cool, the general tone of it is pretty nice. It's a bit Enter the Gungeon with like funniness and stuff, but yeah. I think these games are a dime a dozen these days. Mike was saying earlier that, you know, there's no originality anymore, but I think this is one of those kind of
difficult. So.
Yeah, Mike said he hates games. I think I'm paraphrasing, but like some games you don't kind of really want them to be that original. I think roguelikes are one of those where it's like you kind of want to play what you get. When I hear a roguelike, I'm to be, I get as far as I can, I die, but I can take some things with me. And I think this is just basically like, if you're hooked on roguelikes like I am, this is the good quality shit. This is like a, you know, a top. I would say this is one of the nicest and most, like, it's the easiest I've clicked with a game all year, like straight in, like within 10 minutes. I'm like, I don't know how I'll feel like I don't know how I'll feel at the end of the year, but how I feel right now is, whoa, this is really getting slapped on. So it did only come out on Thursday. It was on nobody's radar. I don't even think we mentioned it in the games coming out last week. But it's really quite good. Like, have a go. If you want a brain off game, like we were saying earlier, have a look at this. It's good. There we go.
So that's UnderMine, yeah? Yeah,
UnderMine.
Nice. All right, have a look for that. New games coming out this week, then. There's a few. There's a few. There's actually a roguelike, another roguelike. On the 11th of August, which is Tuesday, you got Risk of Rain 2, which has been in early access for a good while, but it's out officially out on PC, Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. Published by Gearbox. What do we know about this?
It was announced somewhere, wasn't it? And then there was a big, where was it announced? Is it the Game Awards or something? And it was like, and it's out right now in early access. I think it might have been the Game Awards last year or the year before. And a lot of my friends from my hometown got in on it. And it's unusual for them to get into this because they only pretty much like League of Legends and Overwatch. They're like all hooked on that shit. But they were all into it. It's a roguelike, but I hate the look of it. I hate
it's overwhelmingly positive on Steam. Based on thousands of reviews, 63,000.
I played the first one, which was a 2D side-scrolling roguelike, and I know this one's fully 3D.
Yeah,
it's out on. Here we go. Then it's coming out on the Switch as well.
I just said that.
Oh, sorry. And when I heard Risk of Rain, a part of me died. I can't. I'll play it. I'll play it because I like how wrong I am a lot of the time. Like Fire Emblem, I thought I'd hate it. I had this exact same feeling.
Well, it's co-op, and it does look.
The art style disgusts me. That's the only way I can describe it. Have you seen it? It's one of the ugliest games I've ever seen in my life.
We have been harsh this week.
No, we've not.
We have been rough.
No, listen.
You just said the art style disgusts me. Some artist has fucking poured their soul into that.
Well, he probably thinks I'm a dickhead, and he's right. But the point is, like, it's one of the ugliest looking games I've ever seen. Right? It looks like when you go on Photoshop, there's a filter that you can do to make people look all neon. It looks like that.
Yeah,
it's horrible. But I don't know because I didn't like the look of. I remember Deep Rock Galactic when he first showed that off. I thought the art style looked a bit dodgy because it's like low poly, but it's very wireframe, like very meshy. I don't know how to describe
it. What's the word, Liam? Voxel? Is that
low poly? Is it?
I'm not sure actually.
I can't even remember what the fucking word is. Is it voxel? No. I completely made that up. It's
voxels.
Voxel's like big,
diorama.
Yeah, like big chunky pixels.
Yes.
Voxel.
What is Deep Rock Galactic then? We sound
it's low poly. I'm telling you right now.
But it's like two gig or something.
I think it might be Voxel, Deep Rock Galactic.
Yeah, I knew it was Voxel.
I think it might be. Like, I'm not entirely sure.
Voxel is cubic diorama, right? It's low poly. I'll bet my dick on it, lads. It's low poly.
no thanks. Can you get someone else?
I'm on Google right now, and I've just Googled Voxel, and I've just Googled low poly as well, which is why I'm being so crass. But the point I'm trying to make is I didn't like the look of Deep Rock Galactic, but when you've got the music on and you're playing with your friends, it's a different vibe altogether. So you shouldn't judge it by how it looks. Like Risk of Rain, I'm looking at the stills and it looks like it's got a dodgy filter on it, but maybe when you play, there's actually something really cool to it. So I'm being horrible here, but with the, like, I'm not ruling it out. I'm not ruling the most disgusting game I've ever seen out. I'm going to... So, I'll give it a go. I'm actually on a holiday this week. I'm away from my whole week. But when I come back, if people are saying nice things about Risk of Rain, you know what? I'll get it.
We'll, I was going to say, because it looks like that kind of Steam darling, PC gaming darling type game. That, to completely honest, I don't usually pay a lot of attention to that, which is why, things like Deep Rock Galactic and stuff, I never would have played that if someone watching or listening hadn't heavily recommended it to us. And this is the same, but it does look good, and the fact it's got over rated on Steam is probably a good thing.
We've so many, sorry, Mike.
Yeah, if you, is it just low poly though? I feel like I've heard word. The graphical technology behind it, which is like why it's only 2 point. I know it's procedurally generated, but because it's only like 2.5 gig or something, whatever it is. I'm talking about Deep Rock Galactic.
Yeah,
there's got to be a fucking word for it. If you know what it is, tell me in the comments because I can't be asked googling anymore.
They've actually Deep Rock Galactic on the 13th of October have called it low poly and minimalist art style wink face emoji. That's what they've called it. So I'm right. Anyway.
I'm sure you are right. But also, there's got to be method underlying that, right?
Yeah, 100%.
It's like saying, it's a watercolor art style. Okay, but there's a word for the fucking technology that makes
whatever they're doing, other people need to start learning because the game is tiny compared to what it is, and it's amazing. So
it's astonishing that you can get a game that's 3 gigabytes in a world where fucking Call of Duty is over 200 gig. Anyway, let's move on. Hyperscape is out on PC, PS4, and Xbox One on the same day. That's August the 11th, which is the Tuesday. So Ubisoft. What do you know about this, guys?
Played it.
Talk about it.
Yeah, I played it when it was in open beta 2 weeks ago, I think. And
was it part of the Ubisoft Forward or something like that? Maybe.
They came out and said like it's because it was in closed beta before, and you had to get access, you had to get a key drop from Twitch if you wanted to play it. But then they just opened it to everyone for the after the Ubisoft Forward thing. But yeah, it's Ubisoft's attempt at a battle royale game. It's got heavy like Ready Player One vibes to it, where it's set in a virtual world within the internet called, I think it's the Hyperscape, but you play this game called something Rush, Champion Rush, something like that. But that's
the next fucking hero shooter, mate. Rogue Company 2, Champion Rush.
Yeah, like the lore around it is, it's a battle royale game, but for some reason it's got lore, and it's like someone's messing with the hyperscape and hacking it and everything, but that ties into the battle royale game because you can use hacks to, like, you've got special abilities you can find in the world and pick up are called hacks, and it's this very digital art style. Everything's got like the Deus Ex triangle art style to it, and it plays more like something like Quake, rather than PUBG or Warzone or Battlefield.
Yeah.
It feels more like Quake or Unreal Tournament. With it's the time to kill on it. That it didn't feel great to me. It felt like it took just a bit too long to take out other players, and they seem to be going all in on like Twitch integration, where people watching a match on Twitch can say, like, if your favorite streamer is in a match and you're watching them play it on Twitch, and they've got their Twitch account linked to their Ubisoft account, their viewers can vote on events that periodically take place throughout a match, which is like low gravity, like everyone gets the same weapon for a bit. You can see everyone on the map, which causes like this big free for all shootout because everyone knows where everyone is, and then it's got like different weapons. You just you pick up everything on the map like you do in any battle royale, and it's just like, I don't know. It's I don't know where it stands within the many battle royale games that exist in the world. I don't know where this falls, to be honest, because I played it for a bit.
It's the same as the live game fucking Godfall thing, isn't it? It's the same type of scenario.
I think it seems. Sorry, Jake, what are you saying?
I was just going to say, I think it's weird because it's been sandwiched between Valorant and Rogue Company, which aren't battle royales, are they? They're team-based CS:GO style games, right? But with that hero shooter thing, and it's somehow managed to I don't know, because that seems to be the next thing, the next big thing. Valorant did okay. Rogue Company's doing fantastic, and I feel like Hyperscape's already just lost a lot of momentum. I'm looking on Steam every day, and it's not up there. Like no one's excited. Like Doctor Disrespect.
It's Uplay only.
Yeah, it's. I think there's a lot of constraints surrounding how you could play it at first. With you watch it via Twitch, but then you don't, and now it's finally out. Blah, blah, blah. But Doctor Disrespect came back to streaming after a month and a half yesterday. He had 500,000 concurrent viewers, and he was saying he's not touching it because of the same reason as Shroud isn't, and some other big streamers. So streamers and people who make and break these games basically don't seem to super interested in it for now.
And from what I played of it, it seems to be going all in on trying to get streamers to play it. It seems like it's got a really high skill ceiling, which you'd think would appeal to streamers who they spend hundreds of hours every day. Well, not every day. It's not hundreds of hours in a day, but you know what I mean. They spend hundreds of hours getting perfect at Fortnite or Valorant or whatever their game of choice is. And, they're untouchable pros and stuff like that. And it seems to be Hyperscape is chasing that crowd. But then, if none of them want to play it, I don't know what's going to happen to it.
The game that's been top of the charts this week is Call of Duty again, because when I say top of the charts, I mean most viewed. Because there's been a new season or whatever, the one that pushed it over 200 gig officially. And I think it's also their last season. But it's taken, I think they've done that Fortnite style thing where they've changed the map. So remember when we played Call of Duty, there was that stadium. I don't know if you guys know this or not.
Oh,
the stadium, the roof has been blown off the stadium now, and you can go inside the stadium, which is an area where we spent a lot of our time running around the perimeter of, but now you can actually go in. So, there's little changes like that. That's all these games need to do to get everybody to flock back to them. Whereas Hyperscape is fighting for its motherfucking life out here. Yeah. And maybe launch will bring some new, it'll inject some more hype, but it's out on, what did you say, Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen anyone mention that. Looking at people's stream schedules, no one's talking about it.
I'll tell you what else has been pretty quiet, right? Which is coming out Thursday, which is Total War Saga Troy. It's coming out on PC. It's a 24-hour opportunity to claim the game, the brand new Total War game, for free on the Epic Store, because it's going to be an Epic exclusive for a good while.
It's why they're doing it in a huge PR stunt. Don't talk about it all. Keep it quiet on purpose, because then the people who remember will get it for free. But the vast majority of people will only see the exceedingly positive coverage about it after launch and then buy it like a schmuck. But the point is, but they can say, well, we did say we're giving it away for free.
Well, they have. I have seen. I don't follow many kind of gaming, YouTubers or whatever. But there's one who who does all of them basically, and he's kind of been playing it, and I watched one of his videos, and he wasn't like amazingly enthusiastic about it. And I've seen Total War, tweeting a lot, and all the fucking eye emoji tweets about you can claim it for free for 24 hours and stuff. And if you're interested in Total War, of course, you need to make sure that you fucking get that for free on Thursday on the Epic Game Store. It's worth doing, even if you're only, not even if you're not interested in it at all. I think you'd be mad to not claim it, because it's a big game for free. And if you're interested in strategy games, you should go for it. But the Total War Saga games, there's only been one before, which was Thrones of Britannia, which was, it was okay. And this looks, I'm not excited about it. I've got to be honest. I'm not really looking forward to it. And
the myth units, like the Medusas and all that's cool. I like that side of it. I like the fact that they're doing that, because Thrones of Britannia didn't have anything like that really. But this is really leaning into Greek myth.
Yeah, it's a lot more. It's a lot more like Three Kingdoms. Three Kingdoms didn't really have that, but it was like heroic. There was heroism and kind of magic and stuff. If you wanted it in Three Kingdoms, which is the most recent mainline Total War game. So, I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. I'm a massive Total War fan. I really like Total War games. I've got them all, played them all. This and all the expansions and everything. But this is like, I don't know. I'm just not
the
excited.
most I saw of this game was during the PC gaming show over not E3 time, where they were showing off you could win a custom built PC sponsored by Sega and Total War Troy.
Yeah.
And that is honestly like the most I've heard about this game. Like, I've not seen any gameplay. I've not seen any like trailers being posted. It's been like dead quiet.
It's a weird, like Sega have kind of made it this kind of corporate juggernaut, especially so over the last kind of 6-7 years, I guess. The series has become like a staple PC gaming thing, but also because you've got to be into PC gaming and into strategy games and into this turn-based type. You got to have the patience for that. But also it is this like Paradox Games. There's this corporate fucking. There's a new one every year. There's shitloads of DLC. There's shitloads of expansions. There's always something new. And to the point where it's become a ball ache to have it on your in your Steam library for me, because it's quite on the larger side for a PC game, but there's always an update. Every time you fucking spark your PC up, there's there's a new hero unit that needs to be downloaded to your hard drive, even if you haven't paid the $6.99 to fucking use it. Mm-hmm. There's always these updates all the time, and it's just, so I don't know. I've got a bit of Total War fatigue. Is what I'm saying, but I will obviously claim it because it's free. So I would recommend everyone do that if they're interested. And finally, on Friday is UFC 4, which is out on PS4 and Xbox One, which is a UFC game. You'd imagine that's coming to next gen, right?
It seems like perfect.
Right? Yeah. There's always a sports thing, isn't it?
Yeah, WWE or this or something like that. You imagine, or basketball, whatever. Yeah, I mean,
boxing.
I think they're
not enough boxing games, mate. Let me tell you. Bring back Fight Night.
Sports games are caught in like this weird middle ground at the minute, where a lot of them are coming because they come out every like September-ish usually, but a lot of them have said they're basically just glorified roster updates this year while they make the next gen versions. I know Konami have said for PES, it's literally they're just doing it as a DLC instead of putting out a full game. While they make the next gen version instead. And Madden, they said it's basically just the same game as last year's Madden with your updated players. Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy. Like that's always one that's baffled me, because I'm not, like a football fan or whatever. Because if you go back and look at the FIFA games, and I'm sure if you put fucking the first FIFA game that was on PS4 in front of me now, and told me it was the most recent one, I would never. I'm sure a lot of people, unless they were die-hard fans and knew what the features were and the new fucking. There's always like a new control, isn't there? There's always like this time the triangle button does this, and that's like that's worth 50 quid and the roster update. Anyway, it's getting tired now. We've been talking for ages. I reckon we're running out of steam. Jake, you look fucking knackered, mate. You get a coffee. I'm going to get a coffee. Because we're going to do the bonus podcast. Hey, listen, you have been horrible to the creative community today.
yeah, absolutely.
With your harsh language.
Please send all hate mail about Risk of Rain 2 to DSpecial.com.
Yeah, which is led exclusively by me.
All your libel suits. Send
us your email to DSpecialMoves@gmail.com. If you're a patron, we are going to record a bonus podcast right now, so look out for that sometime this week, and we'll see you again otherwise in about 7 days' time.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.